States of America, those in Canada, those across the pond in the United Kingdom. Good evening to you, one and all. I'm told tonight we have some wonderful listeners in Jamaica. Good evening to you, wherever you are in Jamaica, if you're up in the hills in Norbrook or you're down in the valley. Good evening to you. Good evening to all of those who listen. I'm told we have some fans in Trinidad and Tobago. Good evening to you as well. Good evening, wherever you are. This is On The Mark. I'm your host, Mark Brantley, and we're going to have a good 2 hours tonight, 8 to 10. That's why we're here. We have a lot of things to talk about, a lot of topics to get to, but let me start with a few announcements. Some people have sent me some things they say they want to be said on air, and I start by telling you, yes, that we have an evening with the arts. Nevis is a very sophisticated place, and at Hamilton House Gardens, the Alexander Hamilton's birthplace, on Saturday, the 22nd of February, from 7 to 10 p.m., they have Evening with the Arts. I'm told it's a fashion show. It's a very highbrow affair, and the tickets are $40 US or 100 EC dollars. It's a fundraiser, so you should go out and really support Hamilton House on the 22nd. Please put that in your calendar. On the 22nd of February, Evening with the Arts from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. right at Alexander Hamilton. Tickets are $40 US or 100 EC dollars, and this is all put on by the Nevis Historical and Conservation Society. They're doing some wonderful work in restoring and conserving our history here in Nevis, our archives, our buildings, our historic sites. It is really important that we pay attention to our heritage, and they have been in the vanguard of this Nevis Historical and Conservation Society. Kudos to them and their hard work. Well, they're having an Evening with the Arts, International Edition at Hamilton House, and that is happening on February the 22nd, Saturday, from 7 to 10 p.m. A contribution of $40 US, 100 EC, and of course it's designed to be a fundraiser. So we're asking you to go out and be a part of that. Messages are coming in, things I'm told I have to say, and so I'm told I have a fruit of the week. What is the fruit of the week? The Health Promotion Unit folks are saying that the fruit of the week is watermelon. And they say nutritional fact, watermelon is rich in vitamin C, has a high water content. They say vitamin C is good to stave off the cold and flu, and obviously there's a season for that, and so eat plenty watermelon. They said it hydrates the body, reduces muscle soreness, promotes healthy skin, and prevents constipation. That's from the Health Promotion Unit saying the fruit of the week is watermelon. And what is the vegetable of the week? Pumpkin. Pumpkin is a good source of potassium, vitamin C, fiber, and antioxidants, which have been linked to heart health benefits. So, eat plenty watermelon, eat plenty pumpkin, and you're good to go. That's the word from the Health Promotion Unit. My good friend here, Chevenet, who always sends me this stuff and asks me to read it on air. Just to remind you, the fruit of the week, watermelon. The vegetable of the week, pumpkin. Now, why is pumpkin a vegetable and watermelon a fruit? And they grow the same way on a vine on top of the ground. I don't know what the answer to that is, so when you figure it out, you could call and tell me. And then an Evening with the Arts at Hamilton House, Alexander Hamilton's birthplace, right there on Hunkins Drive, and that will be on February 22nd from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Tickets are $40 US, 100 EC. It's a fundraiser, so we're asking you to make a contribution. Then we have the Cicely Brown Integrated School. They'll be having their sports meet under the patronage of Miss Sonia Williams, my dear friend Sonia. Sonia, you're big up, you're large. Sonia, if you're listening, good night to you. Well, Sonia Williams is the patron of the Cicely Brown Integrated School Sports Meet. It's Tuesday, February 18th, 2020. It will be held at the Mondo Track, starting at 12:30 p.m. Admission, adults $5. Children over 12 years pay $2. There'll be lots to eat and drink. Come and see the students for Yellow and Blue House compete. And let me go on record to congratulate the teachers and staff at the Cicely Brown Integrated School. The principal there, Violet, does a wonderful job. I want to congratulate all of them. They do a marvelous job, and these children perform exceptionally well. And so I'm asking one and all to go out on Tuesday, February 18th, 2020, at the Mondo Track, right there at Long Point, and support this sports day. They say they have two houses, yellow and blue. That's interesting. Yellow and blue. Those are the houses that will be competing, so you're asked to go out and be a part of that. Okay. Those are the announcements that I have thus far. I'm going to get to some more a little later. It's an interesting couple of days and couple of weeks. This is election season. I'm the leader of the Concerned Citizens Movement, and I'm in election mode. I think that those who want to see me in a jacket and tie, we have to do that because we have the country to run, we have the island of Nevis to run, and we participate as well in St. Kitts. But we understand that we have two things happening. We have a by-election that is due, and we have a federal election that is due. And both will come when they will come. And so we have to get ready for them. Now, let us for a moment just look at what we have been doing. Today, in the National Assembly, as a matter of fact, as I was headed here, it was still going on. Of course, I couldn't be there for the entire day because I had a matter where my godmother, Maplin Brown, was laid to rest today. I had to go and pay my respects. I would want to send my deep condolences to her son and her sister and the entire family, the Hanleys Road community, the Sheriff community. We've lost Stalwart in Maplin. She was a very, very dear person to me, a kind-hearted person, very generous with her time and with all that she had. And I would want to extend my condolences. And so I had to go there today. I also, while I'm at it, would want to extend my condolences to the family of Big John, John Levine. We all knew him as Big John. He was one of my close relatives. I knew him very well. He was very close to my dad of blessed memory. And Big John passed away in the United States after an illness of some time. I regrettably did not attend the funeral because I got my dates mixed up. I have apologized privately to the family. I would want to publicly have also apologized because I really wanted to be there. Big John was very, very special to me, very special to my family, and he was, again, a very kind-hearted person, a very gentle soul, a gentle giant. And I well remember when I myself lived in New York at 1537 Vice Avenue that he used to be there, and always, always someone who loved people and who people loved. And so to the family of Big John, to his children, to his siblings, many of whom are here, I would want to extend my very, very deep condolences to you and to the rest of the extended family, and also to the family of Maplin Brown, the formerly of sheriffs. I would extend my condolences to you as well. I had to leave the house, therefore, today to come back to Nevis to deal with that. And of course, I also knew that I had my show tonight. And I think that it was important for me to be here. I have some travel that is scheduled. I'll see how that goes in the coming weeks. But I think as much time as I can spend on this show, I should be here with you. This is a time when all of us are making an effort to educate each other, to get our message out, and to let the electorate know that we are here and this is what we stand for. Today, I thought it was an important and historic day in the life and times of our country. Because today, at the federal level, the Team Unity-led Parliament, the Team Unity government, we were able to bring into law a new paradigm for cannabis and a framework to create what we have referred to as the cannabis industry. Now, why is that important, ladies and gentlemen? It is important because in 2017, we had a local election here in Nevis. And we had a party called the Nevis Reformation Party that went around then under the leadership of Joseph Parry and talked and talked and talked ad nauseum about marijuana, ganja, weed, cannabis, marijuana, sensimilia, whatever you want to call it. They spoke at length about marijuana. And they had a narrative that they took to the byways and the highways of our beloved island. What was this narrative? Vote for them. Put them into the Nevis Island administration, and they will legalize marijuana. You would notice that I, then as a new leader of CCM, did not engage. My party did not engage. We were baited, we were cursed out. In fact, I recall that someone likened me to Hitler because I would not engage on this particular matter. I did not engage, and my party did not engage because we had one abiding truth, and that was that the Nevis Island government has zero authority to do anything about legalizing marijuana. that question of the legalization of marijuana or the decriminalization of marijuana or the creation of a legal and statutory framework for cannabis industry was, is, and will always be a federal matter. And that's the point that we made. And so we said we're not going to run around in Jessops and Barnesgate, in Cotton Ground and Brownhill, in Bath and Zion, to tell Nevisians that if we are elected to the Nevis Island government, we will legalize marijuana, when we knew it could not be done, that there was no constitutional authority to do it in the Nevis Island government or the Nevis Island legislature. Put differently, ladies and gentlemen, the CCM is not in the fooling people business. The CCM is not in the treating people as if they're stupid business. That is the NRP. That has always been their way. They're brighter than everybody, you see. So they went around a set of noise and fury. Mr. Parry, a man then of 70 years old, 70, at good biblical age, spoken to, I believe it is in the book of Psalms. He up and down, Sensimilia, ganja, marijuana. Joseph Parry had spent a lifetime in public service. I don't know he ever had any other career outside the public service. He was a civil servant, and then he became a minister, and he spent 30-odd years in politics. My good friend Joe waited until he was 70 years old to talk about marijuana, and to finally recognize that young people had been convicted and had convictions and had suffered because of marijuana. Then we had some others. There's a big mouth fella there, but I like to call him Buster, because all he does, yap, 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 yap. All talk, no substance. Froth, no mobby. Well, Buster was up and down, the biggest champion for marijuana. And sometimes I reflect when I hear the noise and fury, the cacophony of sound. When I reflect, I said to myself, but there was a time when Buster was involved in cricket in Nevis. There was a time when he was. And I remember that my good cousin, Nazi Barnett Thompson, was banned. Why? Because Buster said he smelled marijuana. He never caught Nazi smoking. He said he smelled the weed. And Nazi, a promising opening batsman for Nevis and Leewards, was banned. And then they come now to say they are the leaders in the charge to legalize marijuana. Having victimized so many over ganja, they now come to say that they're the ones to lead the charge. Then there's Patrice Nisbet, my good friend. Patrice Nisbet had served as legal advisor to the NRP government from 2006 until 2010. In 2010, he stepped up to a higher role and became Attorney General of the Great Federation of St. Christopher and Nevis. He was also Minister of Justice. You know what that means? All the laws were in his hands. He was the lawyer of all lawyers, topper, the man who was advising the government. You ever hear Patrice, in all the years that he sat in the federal parliament as Attorney General, as Minister of Justice, ever talk about marijuana? Ever talk about legalizing marijuana? Ever uttered a sentence, a word about marijuana? No. So you have to ask the question. That NRP was in power in Nevis from 2006 until 2013. 5 years and 18 null and void months. And at no point, when they held the seat of power, was marijuana on their agenda. At no point. Suddenly they're out of power. Patrice Nisbet, my friend, was Attorney General and Minister of Justice. From 2010 until 2015, he sat in the federal government. Never once did he utter the word marijuana, cannabis, sensimilia. Never once. And so one has to ask, what road to Damascus moment happened? What happened? I attended something that the Rastafarian brethren have, I support every year. And I attended something at the Villa Grounds. And here comes this fellow now who says he's a politician, up and down making the most noise in Nevis. And he comes, and I believe they refer to him as a man called Daly. And he does a lot of things daily. He comes to a gathering of Rastafarians as a group. Nobody has suffered more than them for marijuana. And he comes to that group, and I never forget, I remember it like yesterday, because in my own moments sometimes in a serious meeting, I think about the jokes that I've had in my life, and I get some levity from it. And he spoke before I did. I really don't know why they invited him, but he was there. And as he took the mic, he said, Jah Rastafari. I said, look at this kunamono. Listen to this kunamono. Jah Rastafari. Then he says to Rastafarians about a serious issue. That he had some farm. And that on the farm, he hired some fella. And he liked when the fella smoke the weed because the fella work all day and don't eat nothing. That was his argument. And then he said to them that the Rastafarians must join the NRP. Get on the NRP bandwagon because the NRP is leading the charge about marijuana. And I am not Rasta, but I felt insulted for the Rastas. You know why? NRP just come to talk about marijuana in 2017 election. Whatever polling they did tell them it could be a good issue for them, so they jumped on it. Because look at the history. Let me repeat. Joseph Parry, a politician for 30-something years, wait till he's 70 to say he hear about ganja. Carlisle Powell, a.k.a. Buster, have a whole cricketer ban because he say he smell marijuana. Patrice Nisbet, as legal advisor to the NIA, never mentioned marijuana. And then in 2010, he became Attorney General and Minister of Justice, never mentioned sensimilia. All of a sudden, 2017 election, they bring this boy, a failed educator, and he now say, Jah Rastafari. And say how he got man on the farm. And when he give them some sensimilia, them work all day and not eat no food. Now I thought to myself, if you're concerned about people, you should be concerned about a man working all day and not eat no food. But no, this was what he was there saying. But then said to the Rastas gathered there that they must join the NRP. Support the NRP, as he said. Come on our bandwagon because we are championing this cause. And I said, well, how you could just come in the last shower rain? Yeah? I grew up in Brownhill. Brownhill had a man like Bashi, Yaba, Lion, Kumba, Rascap, Jala. Brownhill was full of Rastaman, Jabal, and they paid a price. Nutsi, here I said Nutsi get banned, a promising opening batsman, he could have been on West Indies today. He had the talent. Get banned. So when you come and you start to say that you discover marijuana in 2017 and people must jump on your bandwagon, you are insulting people. Because Rastas not here only here in Sinkistingis, but around the Caribbean have suffered the most. Get their head bust, the door break in, police carry them off, barging on them and their families because of marijuana. That was what the law said, and they paid the price because they always said that it was part of their sacrament, part of their religion. So my view is, if you were serious, you should be going to see how you could support people like the Rastafarian community. Say to them that you understand the difficulties that they would experience, and that you're joining them in being advocates, not come tell them they must join you because you figure it's an issue in which you're going to play some politics. And that is why CCM did not engage. Because I said to my party, we will not engage in folly and foolishness. Because anything to be done about marijuana has to be done on Church Street, has to be done in the parliament in St. Kitts, not in Nevis. And the people of Nevis delivered their verdict. 17th of December 2017, 4 seats CCM, 1 base seat NRP. What did that tell you? They rejected the foolish argument of the NRP. That's what it told you. Now, what did we do at the federal level? I said to the Prime Minister what my views were. Vance Amory said to the Prime Minister what his views were. We represented Nevis in the cabinet. The other colleagues said what their views were. They were mixed views. That is understandable. But we decided that the best approach was a consultative approach. And so, we put together a wide-ranging commission, well representative of the society, including Rastafarians, members of the traditional church, doctors, lawyers, everybody, youth. And it was headed by the CMO, Dr. Laws. 18 months they spent. And I was very impressed with their work because they went to the highways and byways, to the alleys of St. Christopher and Nevis. And they consulted far and wide. After 18 months, they came and they delivered their report. As a cabinet, having commissioned the report, we studied the report. And the wisdom of the cabinet was to accept those recommendations of the commission which were unanimous. And so we went to the parliament and we passed the laws to decriminalize certain small quantities of marijuana, to say that you could grow certain small quantities, that having certain quantities will no longer attract any type of criminal penalty, but rather, if anything, it will become what we call a ticketable offense, like when you park on the yellow line in town. And those were the recommendations that we had, and we acted on them. The recommendation also was that we legalized marijuana and create a framework for medicinal and scientific purposes. And we know that there's big money in that, big industry in that. And that is what we did. In the interim, one Rasta brethren took the government to court, and that case was coming on. And again, the cabinet acted prudently, and we said, let us wait to see what the judge will say. The judge made his ruling, which suggested that once you're in the privacy of your home, that you had certain protections in terms of using marijuana in the privacy of your home. And we have decided that we must respect the rulings of the court and take guidance from that. And so, ladies and gentlemen, today is an important day. It's an historic day because with no set of noise, with no effort to make this a political issue, because it should never be a political issue. We went after deliberate thought, consultation, a report, proper analysis, and advice. Look at what they've done in St. Vincent and Jamaica, Antigua and St. Lucia. We went into the parliament today and we created a new legal framework for cannabis and what we hope will be the start of a cannabis industry. I think it is important for me to say those things. You know why? Because too often people come and think they're smarter than you and want to try fool you. It's important we say those things so that people could understand and appreciate the realities of what we've had to deal with. NRP was always seeking to commit a fraud on the people of Nevis with this argument that they could do something about marijuana in the Nevis Island Assembly. They could not. They had no authority, no constitutional authority. It was what you call chaff that the wind bloweth away. None. And then across the water, we have Dr. Douglas. Dr. Douglas was Prime Minister for 20 long years. 20 long years. At one point, he had all 8 seats in St. Kitts. He had absolute power and absolute authority in the country. He never did anything about marijuana. It was never on his agenda. And in his latter years, with Patrice Nisbet as his principal legal advisor as Attorney General, marijuana was not on their agenda. To the point, Dr. Douglas, I have an article here in front of me, you know. It was published on the 18th of May, 2011. The 18th of May, 2011, he was Prime Minister. Patrice Nisbet, I believe, was still his Attorney General and Minister of Justice. And I believe I should read it. It's an article taken from CMC, Caribbean Media Corporation. Prime Minister Dr. Denzil Douglas, wait, let me give you the headline. PM Douglas vows to stamp out use and abuse of marijuana. That's the headline. And then, in an article published on the 18th, May 18, 2011, here's what he says. Prime Minister Dr. Denzil Douglas has said that his administration will never legalize marijuana in the Twin Island Federation. Dr. Douglas acknowledged there is an appropriate medicinal ingredient extracted for the treatment of glaucoma, as has been the case in Jamaica and several areas in the United States where marijuana is used under law to ease severe chronic pain for many people. Let me get the full substance of the article for you. Here now he says, and I quote, they're quoting Dr. Douglas, quote, "We do not have any of that use here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And so at the moment, marijuana is illegal in its use, and apart from that, it is a commonly abused drug. And the government will speak out against the use and abuse here in St. Kitts and Nevis," said Dr. Douglas during his weekly radio program, Ask the Prime Minister. I go back, this is what Dr. Douglas said, 2011, May 18th. "We don't want to get anyone confused at all as to what position the government's position on marijuana is. Marijuana is a banned drug, and the law will continue to pursue those who abuse the use of this drug." They go on to quote Dr. Douglas. Let me try if I can talk like him, sound like him. "Marijuana can be used for medicinal purposes, and that is being well established. But at the moment, it is an illegal and abused drug here in this country, and we shall do everything to stamp it out." That's Douglas, you know. I sound like him? That's what he said. The Prime Minister said, too many young people have become confused, have become hyped up, have been encouraged to a large extent by the use of marijuana to get into serious crime, heinous crimes, serious and violent criminal activity, and to a large extent, marijuana has been associated in many cases. Let me go back to see if I could sound like him, because they're quoting him again. As a medical person myself, I know for a fact that in situations where there may be latent, lying, dormant, schizophrenic problems, that there can be unmasked with the use of marijuana, and thus, as we would say, cause one to do all kind of crazy things. And we cannot encourage it in this society because of this, he told listeners. That's the man, Dr. Douglas. May 18, 2011, under a byline, PM Douglas vows to stamp out the use and abuse of marijuana. Now, I can't say that people can't change their mind. People change their minds, and that is fine. But I am creating for you the picture. That for 20 years, Denzel Douglas ruled supreme in this country. 20 years. Not 5, not 10, not 15, 20 years. Almost a generation. He was the man in charge. He said he was 10 man in one. The maximum leader in the Caribbean. And for 20 years, marijuana was not on his agenda. And when NRP joined him in 2010, for the 5 years from 2010 to 2015, it was not on their agenda. In fact, in 2011, I just quoted to you, he said, not marijuana. No, make young people crazy and cause them to commit violent crime. Not here, not in St. Christopher. That's what the man said. And so perhaps one could understand why Patrice Nisbet, who even now, having been rejected time and time again, continues to voice himself on the people of St. James and St. Thomas's. Never mentioned anything about marijuana. All of a sudden in 2017, from Big Joe, come all the way down. Tut Mun Saman Bagay converted, talking about weed. Ja! Rastafari! Marijuana. And I say, what utter hypocrisy. And the people didn't buy it. Because I have said time and time again, the people of Nevis are some of the most capable people in the world. They can smell nonsense from a mile away. And when you come, they tell you, yeah, you know, oh yeah, I believe you. And when you're gone, they say, not tell nobody you fool me. Yeah, I hear you. I hear what you say. But not tell nobody you fool me. And that has been the problem. When you feel you're too bright and other people stupid, you tell them all kind of things. We, the CCM, took a path that this was a foolish issue and we would not engage in it. And just like that, we put that to one side. Foolish issue. We will not engage in it. Because at the end of the day, we knew as part of Team Unity that only CCM working with Team Unity could deliver any change on marijuana in the country. And so we didn't need to go out and make no noise about it. Today, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Today, quantum leap forward, following upon what we did already. We went further today. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the difference between gimmickry and real policy. Between those who would use an issue for purely emotive and political reasons, an issue that really has nothing to do with politics ought not to be political. That is the difference. So I didn't need to come and beat my chest and say, Ja Rastafari, and say when people smoke up the weed, them walk all day and them not eat no food. That is abject nonsense. That is what we call tosh. T-O-S-H. Tosh. Rubbish. And so we never engage in it because CCM is a serious party, and I always tell you that serious times in which we live demand serious attention from serious people. And we are serious people, a serious party. We don't come with no foolishness for people. And so we rejected it for what it was, and the voters rejected it for what it was. And today, 2 years after 2017, when this was catapulted into the stratosphere as some major political issue, the people have seen how a serious government deals with issues such as these. Consultation, widespread, 18 months. A report that is public, I see it up on SKNIS website, go and look at it, from the Cannabis Commission. And then an acceptance of that report and the best advice that we could get. That is how you govern, ladies and gentlemen. That is serious government dealing with serious issues. Not a bunch of Rary and Roro and Jarastafari trying to say you mama guy in people. No, deal with matters in a serious way. And so that brings me now to the next issue. Mr. Parry has called it today. Mr. Parry said, all these blows here and this politics thing, I done with that. Done. I take blows since 1992. 1992, I get blows. 1993, I get blows. 1995, I get blows. 1997, I get blows. 2000, I get blows. 2001, I get blows. 2004, I get blows. 2006, I walk something and it walk out and I scrape through and I get in. 2011, I took hundreds of people off the voters list. That was the plan. And they say all of this was done. 203 CCM supporters were removed from the list in my constituency of St. John's, my beloved St. John's. In Cane Garden alone, because the people there are largely from Guyana and elsewhere in the Caribbean, they went through and they take off all. Tut, Mun, Saman Bogai, Sing, Baglal, and Bagwan. Tut, Mun, Saman Bogai, they take off all. If you had a name that's look Guyanese, they take you off. That is why sometimes, I remind our friends and family from the Caribbean who have settled here, don't forget how you were treated. Rounded up. Remember one Friday afternoon I'm in town and some people there in the long stone house wall sitting. They brought a paddy wagon. Round them up, throw them in. Get up to the station like common criminals. That's how they treated our Caribbean brothers and sisters. And they went into Cane Garden and they removed everybody. I well remember when we went to court, because they said they won the election with the help of a big black fox down in Cox. So they beat me by 14 votes with 14 spoiled ballots. I said, well, you all know I'm the sheriff. The sheriff is charged with enforcing the law. And I said, under no circumstances will any illegal activity deprive the people of Nevis of the government that they truly want. And so I went to court. Many said it was foolhardy. People don't win election petitions. But we won. And they appealed, and we won unanimously on appeal. Because so egregious was what was done. Broad daylight thieving. Broad daylight thieving. Remove people, and still they put a black fox down in Cox. I believe he has been immortalized, as long as he lives, by the great Calypsonian, the one they call Papa Wheeler. Sing about it. Big black fox down in Cox. And they say I lost. And I said, no, I'm not take it so. I'm not going to take it so. Because in cricket, when you're batting good and a man chuck, stone, when he's supposed to bring over your hand and you get your wicket, he said, no ball. So I went to the court. And the court vindicated the CCM. Said that what we said was correct. And you know what I remember about that court case? That whilst we were doing the case, a Guyanese lady came quietly. She said, I was not allowed to vote and I would like to give evidence. And we said, well, who are you? And she gave her name. And when we look on the thing, we see that she too had been removed from the voters list. You know what the reason that that lady was removed from the voters list? The electoral officials said she was deceased. Well, deceased is a big word. All it means is that she dead. But the woman walked up to the courthouse in Charlestown with her ID and said, this is who I am, and I was refused the right to vote. And when we checked in the book, they said she was removed because she dead. And I remember when our counsel, the great Douglas Mendes, SC, said to the judge, my lord, we have here this lady who was denied her right to vote. She has her ID in her hand, valid, identifying her as a voter, lawfully registered in the constituency of St. John. And in the records, they say she was removed because she is dead. And the judge's eyes open up and the judge look and see a dead woman standing in front of him. And the great Anthony Astafan Senior Counsel, who the NRP had brought and Douglas had brought to try and defend the indefensible. His only retort to the judge was, "My God, Lazarus has risen." You can't make this thing up. My God, Lazarus has risen. Because here's a whole live woman taken off the voters list by the NRP, says she dead. And the grave opened, and she came forth and walked to the courthouse to say, here I am, living and breathing, and I was denied my right to vote in this country. Lazarus has risen. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not making these things up. And sometimes we must remind each other of what has happened in this country, all in a quest to hold on to power. Well, the people say enough is enough. And we went back to the polls in 2013. Here I was naming them, you know. Parry gave blows in 92, blows in 93, blows in 95, blows again in 97, blows in 2000, 2001, 2004, 2006 he squeaked through and he won the only election then. 2011, 2010 he get blows again. He get blows in the by-election, blows in 2010, 2011. The NRP tried to thief one. And we went to court and the court said, no, do over. That one is bad, null and void. 2013 they get blows again. 2015 they get blows. 2017 they get blows. Lord Jose, not me. Not me. This is what you call punch drunk. Punch drunk, I can't take anymore. So Joe, whatever you say about Mr. Parry, he's a smart man. And he said, you see this boy Mark Brantley here? Can't go with he. There's some in the party who want to be great. They think they're great. One of them, you know, I heard them say that he made a lot of noise. I want to go up against Mark Brantley. I will deal with him. And they say that Parry and Hensley consulted each other. And in the words of the Calypsonian, they say, well, let go if you want to go. The Calypsonian say, let come if you want to come. They say, let he go if you want to go. I put 350 on him. I thought that was a reasonable beating. 350. They say when he went back and he bawled because they said they had to order Benge from Miami to anoint him down. When he get the Benge from Miami and he bawling, smelling stink of Benge. They say Hensley and Parry laugh and say, I've been tell you, but you wouldn't listen. You see, some of them are looking for greatness. They have said publicly that they want to come up in the world, but they want to do so on the back of the people of Neas. And so Parry, having taken blows for all these years, Parry said, no, I done with that. Stepped away. And we had our leadership challenge, it appears. I hear it's Mutt and Jeff. And who had money and who paid for who and all kind of confusion I hear came out. Anyway, one of them emerged. A man who ain't got no seat and can't win no seat emerged as the leader. And they are the ones now who have put together a motley crew to say they're running against the CCM. And they have put out all kinds of things that they claim they're going to do. Now, they have declared a candidate in number 9 against me. They have declared a candidate in number 11. They have not declared a candidate in number 10. Indeed, we had a young man called Bijan Hanley who declared himself as the candidate. And Bijan, having campaigned, I saw him on his morning walk greeting sheep and goat, said hello to a donkey and took a very nice picture. I don't know if there was any suggestion that he and the donkey knew each other and maybe it was his pet, I don't know. But he took a photo with the donkey, posted it to social media, and he walked around in the morning and said hello to his constituents. And when one looked, the constituents were goats and sheep. I can't make this up, my friends. I'm telling you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And so, having performed in that way for some time, not the NRP leader, but the NRP mouthpiece now, goes on some radio station and said that Mr. Hanley, young Mr. Hanley, will not be a candidate for the NRP. But I'm going to predict here tonight, that Mr. Hanley may well end up being the candidate for the NRP in number 10. You know why? Because I could name nearly 5 people in Gingerland that they've asked, and all have said no. So they had no replacement for young Hanley. None. But before they were able to get a replacement, they went and declared he would not be their candidate. So they go and they ask a young man from Rollins, the answer was no. A young man from Dung Rices, the answer was no. They asked a young lady, the answer was no. I will not call the names, but they asked several people, because some of them have called us to say, look at the tomfoolery that they're asking us to run for them. And so by a process of elimination, they will either not contest number 10 or young Mr. Hanley will be their candidate. It really doesn't matter who the candidate is, because we know what the result will be. But I'm simply saying that this is not a party that is serious. It's not serious. And they're going around making all kinds of noise about all kinds of things. Every week, they make up a story and they come with it. I saw somebody sent me something the other day, because I have decided that in my own lifetime, the Lord has blessed me to get to 51. I'm trying my best to get to 70. And if by grace of God and by strength I'm able to get to 80, we understand that in no time you will fly away. So I don't have long left, and I don't intend to waste the little that I have. I have 2 children, I have a wife. I need to focus some attention on family, and of course, focus attention on serving the people of Nevis. So I don't pay too much attention to the noise, because noise can be distracting. It gives you a headache. So the other day I'm there going about my business, and somebody sends me something, and they said it is from the new NRP leader, the one without the seat. I think his mother called him El Hansville. And I said, what is it now? What is it? What is it now that this young man wants? What attention does he require of me today? Because I have important things to do. I'm not wasting time sitting down, have nothing to do. I have things to do. And when I look, it said that a white Russian woman was now in charge of the Nevis Investment Promotion Agency. And I put my phone down and I picked it up, because I said at my age now I don't see so well. So I rubbed my eyes, I took off my spectacles, I cleaned them, I put them back on. And I read again. White Russian woman in charge of Nevis Investment Promotion Agency. And I said, this is interesting. So I took up my phone. And I called a lady called Kimon Movin, whom I had always known to be a Nevisian, who hailed from the Zetlands, Rollins area. And I picked up the phone and I called Kimon, because I said I was not myself aware that Kimon had, through some process of science, been transformed from Kimon Movin, a Nevisian black woman, to a white woman. Nor was I aware that Kimon Movin was not Russian. So I was really alarmed, because I said, if the NRP has discovered some scientific process, it might be the answer to create thousands of jobs here in Nevis and to make Nevis a famous place. I said, good God, Kimon is not white and Kimon is not Russian. And then, to my chagrin, I found out Kimon was still a black Nevisian. Kimon was neither white nor Russian. And I said, look at the tomfoolery. That a man could be so, how should I put it? I would like to say bored, but it's not so much bored. A man could have no clients because he says he's a lawyer. No professional duties of any kind. That he will actually sit down and make up a whole story that a white Russian woman is in charge of the Nevis Investment Promotion Agency, and then put the story from his head onto paper and then disseminate it. Now, I always said to these guys sometimes, you know, and I believe it was Paul Keynes Douglas who said, in the Caribbean we have storytellers. When you're telling a story, you say certain things. Once upon a time, Tim Tim. You say these things because people then understand that what is coming after is not real. So I don't know what these fellas don't start some of their public conversation with saying once upon a time. Because once you say that, we know it's a Nancy story. Tim Tim. We know that what you're coming with is not so. But just think of the time that it takes to sit down, think up the story, commit it to writing, and then disseminate it. And then you sit back with your famous nostrils flaring. And you think what? What exactly is going to happen? Because at some point the public will find out that it is a lie. It is a lie. It is fake news. And then what? How do you justify it? We had one of them tell a long story about a German cockroach over at the Charlestown, at the Ivor Walters Primary School. Lord, I confess that when I see the size of cockroach that the man put on Facebook, my heart dropped. I said, my God, those children out there, cockroach going to eat them. The biggest cockroach I ever see. And the man not get no monstrous cockroach, you know. The man not get no Barbuda cockroach, you know. The man went all the way to Berlin, Munich, Dusseldorf, Germany. The man says a German cockroach. And then the man tell you all the disease that the German cockroach could cause. And how these poor children are being set upon. Oh, my heart grew faint. My heart grew faint when I recognized the danger to our children. Only one problem. The Ivor Walters Primary School neither had Nevis cockroach nor German cockroach. And whilst he was spreading his propaganda and seeking to score some points, I'm not sure against whom, the children were sitting in their cafeteria having lunch, as usual. You see what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen? You think these people are serious people? And then when found out that it was yet again fake news, the man ain't come and say, well, I'm sorry I lied. He says somebody fooled him. Well, I don't know what is worse, to be known as a liar or kunumuno. You have to choose. What are you, a liar or are you a kunumuno? And that is the harsh choice, because if, as he says, somebody call you and say, boy, if you see the amount of cockroach you, Lord, me never see so much cockroach in my life. And on that basis and on that basis only, he go on Google, find a German cockroach, the biggest one I ever see in my life. He look like Godzilla. And put that on Facebook to frighten me and all. My poor heart was fluttering in my chest. I said, my God, them children dead today. All the disease that this thing could cause the poor children. And all the children had to abandon the kitchen. All of that on the basis that somebody tell you so. And you don't believe you could call and check to find out if anything goes so. Huh? You're either a liar or you're kunumuno. One or the other. So, The people have to choose and decide. And so, let me go back, because I digress for a moment. Mr. Parry. So Mr. Parry say, blows in 92, blows in 93, blows in 95, blows again in 97, blows in 2000, blows in 2001, blows in 2004, blows again in 2013, blows in 2015, blows in 2017. I done with that. I done with that. I ain't taking no more blows. I gone. Y'all say y'all young and I want to be famous? Come in the ring. I got that boy up there from Barna Henley Party, go up in Brownhill. And that boy didn't easy. So I come and go deal with it. I say you're young and I got a lot of chat. So I come. And some of them rush in where angels fear to tread. And so Parry not only say he done with the leadership, Parry, after 2 years of the people of St. Thomas is electing him, Parry said, you know something? I done with all you two. I done. I done with politics. I gone. You understand? Parry gone. And so, ladies and gentlemen, what are we left with? We're left with the need for a by-election. And so, it is my job to announce the date for the by-election. Mr. Parry is gone. Left the landscape, left the stage. And the CCM and the NRP will now have to contend, and the people of St. Thomas's will have to make a decision. Now, I could do a lot of things. I could decide to call a general election and put the whole of Nevis on election mode for the Nevis Island Assembly. I could decide to just call a by-election in St. Thomas's Parish. Who knows? It's a matter for me. The Constitution gives me that right. And so I've consulted with the Prime Minister, and the Constitution has set out that within 90 days I have to make a determination as to what I'm going to do. And so we will be making an announcement shortly in terms of what we're going to do. But the Concerned Citizens Movement will be having a public meeting on Saturday, this coming Saturday. We're starting a series of public meetings, political rallies, political meetings, and we're having one this Saturday at George Street in Cotton Ground. You know my good friend Garita is close to her shop at 8 p.m. sharp. And at that point, ladies and gentlemen, we want to have a conversation with the people of St. Thomas's. So we're inviting one and all to come out. If you're from Jessops, Cotton Ground, Barnsgut, Cohoons, Clifton's Estate, Westbury, Craddock Road, all of those areas, we're hoping that you would come out to our public meeting this Saturday at George Street in Cotton Ground, right close to my friend Garita's shop, at 8 p.m. And our message to the people of St. Thomas's is really a simple message. And I want you to listen to me. St. Thomas's, if you're listening, I want you to hear me clearly. We recognize that the good people of St. Thomas's have traditionally voted for the NRP. That is your right. We understand why. Because the NRP stalwarts of old and leadership of old, Right Excellent and Right Honorable Sir Simeon Daniel, our national hero, hailed from Barnsgut. The great Victor J. Martin hailed from Jessops. And Joseph Walcott Parry himself hailed from Cotton Ground. The vanguard, the early movement of the NRP was rooted in the great parish of St. Thomas's. Indeed, I well recall speaking to an elderly woman in one of my walkthroughs and inviting her to vote for CCM, and she said no, she had to vote for Mr. Daniel. And this was many years after Sir Simeon Daniel had already passed on to the great beyond. But as far as she was concerned, she had to vote for Mr. Daniel. There's no gainsaying that people like Sir Simeon were great men. None whatsoever. The greatest, perhaps, was ever walked the face of this island called Nevis. And so we understand that the people of St. Thomas's have traditionally voted for the NRP. Indeed, in 2017, forgive me, when all the rest of Nevis voted CCM, they voted NRP. And so we appreciate that, and we respect that. But here's my simple message to the people of St. Thomas's. This is not a general election. This election, by-election, if that is what happens, will not change the government. And so, if you're asked to choose a candidate in a by-election, then you have a choice whether you vote for the NRP and purely for someone to be in opposition, because that is all they could be, or you vote for the CCM candidate to ensure that you're not only sending somebody to the Nevis Island Assembly to debate laws, but you're also, more importantly, sending somebody to the cabinet. The CCM is already in government, and barring ill health, accident, or pestilence, we hope to be in government for the next 3 years of this first 5-year term under this CCM administration led by me. So, if a by-election is called, that by-election cannot change the government. And so the people of St. Thomas's really have a decision to make. Are they simply going to vote to send somebody into the parliament? There's value in that, to be sure. I'm not going to sit here and say being in parliament isn't valuable. But having been around government for some time and parliament for some time, I can tell you that cabinet is where decisions are made. Cabinet is where projects are designed. Cabinet is where ministers come and advocate for their ministries and for their constituencies. And if you, St. Thomas's, have a choice, I am urging you that if a by-election is called, that you not just send someone to the parliament, but you send someone to the cabinet. That you get a minister in cabinet that you can go to and say, listen, I need a project done here, I need a project done there. I put you there to represent the people of St. Thomas's, to represent this constituency, and as your constituent, I need this done. Because when you sit in cabinet, the various constituencies contend. I, as Premier, I have to look out for the whole of Nevis, including the good people of St. Thomas's. But you have the various constituencies led by ministers, led by constituency reps who contend. So if you only have $100 to build a road, Minister Brand may say, I want that road in Hamilton. Minister Evelyn said, no, I want it in Zion. Minister Jeffers, the Deputy Premier, said, no, the good people of Brick Hill. I may well say, well, the people up in Victoria Road need a road done. Who is the individual that will say the people of Jessop's, Barnesgate, Cotton Ground need their road done? They need their field fixed. They need some housing. You have the power in your hand to put a man there to ensure that when that question arises, I am here on behalf of the good people of St. Thomas's that sent me here, and I have come to make the case for them. St. Thomas's, you don't need to rely on anybody else when you have a chance to send somebody chosen by you to represent you in the cabinet. And that's a simple message. No big fanfare. You have seen where this country is going. You have seen the leaps and bounds at the federal level, and you've seen the leaps and bounds right here in Nevis. Despite the naysayers, the constant nattering neighbors of extreme negativity, who seek each day to tell you that nothing is happening and that the progress that you see before your very eyes is a mirage. It doesn't exist. You know, I know, and everybody knows that that is not so. More jobs, more investment, better health care, better roads and infrastructure, better water, better electricity. Every facet of human development in this island of ours that we all love has been improved under the CCM administration. I hear the Cicely Brown Integrated School is going to have their sports there at the Mondo track. The inter-primary sports are coming up. The inter-high champions are coming up. Where? At the Mondo track. State-of-the-art facility put down by the CCM government. Because hitherto our youngsters ran on dirt, barefoot sometimes. How could they develop? You run them up here in the ETW park on grass and dirt. And thereafter, they had to go down to Sinkins to the Kim Collins facility and run on a proper surface that they're not accustomed to. Nevis and Nivisions are no less than anybody else. And we took a decision as a CCM government that we will get the money and invest the money, and the proof of the pudding is in the running. You hear me? The proof of the pudding is in the running. Met a gentleman who introduced himself to me just today at the water taxi pier at Wally. And he said to me, oh, he can't believe. He's been coming here for 33 years, he said. And he said, such a wonderful initiative to put on that water taxi pier. That is what nothing looks like. Water taxi pier where NASPA can now say to us that from the period mid-November to mid-November last year to mid-January this year, they moved over 25,000 passengers in and out of that water taxi pier. You hear what I tell you? Over 25,000 passengers in and out of that water taxi pier. It's a government, ladies and gentlemen, that has delivered. The roads, we drive now from Cotton Ground all the way to over Cliff Dwellers, and I can assure the people that that is but the first phase. The design is ongoing, and we're going to take that road to where it needs to go. You drive up in Braziers now. You drive down Hanley's Road now. You drive in Brownhill, even though it's not yet quite finished. Oh, beautiful piece of road. When I leave my home now in Montpelier, shoot down the hill, straight down to the Mondo track, one road. That's what we've done in Nevis. Shaw's Road. Look around. Look around. Stony Grove. Hamilton. Look around. The reality, ladies and gentlemen, is that we have performed. I drove through Hamilton just recently, and I see this tank, water tank, towering above the landscape in Hamilton. I took a photo of it because in the cabinet, I recall that I said to the Honorable Spencer Brand, I never again want a situation when Nivisions are out of water. Let us do what we must so that water is always in our pipes and that every single community in Nevis, bar none, has access to potable water. And we have achieved that, you know, ladies and gentlemen. There is no place in Nevis at the moment that doesn't have access to water. We have invested nearly $40 million. We've invested in water upgrades, storage, distribution. And this latest tank in Hamilton was not part of that. This is additional. And we have a well in Hamilton where the chemical content of the water was not within WHO standards, World Health Organization standards. And so what have we done? We've invested over $500,000 to get a filtration system to treat that water and to make it potable, drinkable, healthy. And that water will go into the system and provide relief for all the Charlestown and its environs. government, ladies and gentlemen, that is delivering. You go up by the hospital. You have a $20+ million expansion. It's almost as if you're building a new hospital. That is happening there. You pass by the Treasury in Charlestown, and I made the point when the Treasury building was being opened, I said, but for the grace of God, that building was burnt to the ground. It was burnt to the ground. And Vance Amry, as Premier and leader of CCM, then took a decision, it must be rebuilt. And I went there and I said, look at this. Beautiful building. Some $11+ million we've spent to create that, which will now be the hub, the heart of the government's financial center. Ladies and gentlemen, look around. Look at your roads, look at your water, electricity. The NRP was there with all their expertise and their stated knowledge about everything. They didn't buy one single engine. Not one engine did they buy at the Prospect Power Station. The engines them up there were all bought by CCM. And when we were having serious problems, I remember the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, who was then responsible for Nebula, came to the cabinet and he made a passionate appeal to the cabinet. He said, we have to get an engine. And that is how we invested in the new Wärtsilä engine that is there. When you turn on your lights tonight, wherever you are, and your light switch comes on and you have electricity in your home because the plant is working, thank Alexis Jeffers. Because he stood up like a champion and said wherever we got the money we had to invest, we could not delay the investment. And thanks to him, and thanks to God, and thanks to the SIDF, we were able to buy the engine. And as a consequence, the electricity supply is not perfect, but it's far better than it was. People up and down here were complaining about no lights, no street lights. We got enough street lights now, over 5,000, to do all of Nevis. To put a street light on every other pole, and in some places on every pole on the island of Nevis. And the good thing, these are LED lights, so that the environmental impact is considerably lessened and the amount of electricity consumption is less. When that happens, it means that your bill is less, because remember, all of us together subsidize the street lighting across the country. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a government that is working for you, thinking every day how we can be better, how we can improve. And that is why when I hear all the noise and the cataflam, they're not serious people. I did a show here the other night, and I spoke about the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College. I spoke about a particular period at that college. And I spoke about how over $400,000 went missing according to the audit that was done. Me ain't call nobody name yet, you know. Me ain't call nobody name. I ain't get to that yet, because there'll be a time when I get out on the campaign trail. This is just the warm-up. Yeah? This is the appetizer. The main course going to be out there. And already I'm hearing, they say lawyers looking for me. What lawyers are looking for me for? Yeah? What lawyers looking for me for? I have said repeatedly that when my mother sent me to school, I wasn't out in the yard. I didn't go to school like someone troubled the teacher. I listened to the teacher. You hear me? That is what I did. I listened to my teachers. All of them could attest. I listened to them. I never tried to trouble them. And so I came out of school with something between my ears. When the results were counted, I had passed exams. I wasn't like some who, as one of their colleagues said, them come out with naught and he come out with 1. No, I had more than 1. And so I went to school and I learned, because that's what my mother told me to do. And then through the grace of God, I end up and studied law. And I listened and tried my best to learn there as well. From Barbados for 3 years, I went to Jamaica for 2. I continued to listen to my teachers. Don't trouble none of them. And when I was done there, God again, through his grace, got me to England and to Oxford. I listened to the teachers. We never troubled none of them. And I learned the law. And I came back and I practiced as a lawyer. And I'm here to say that me ain't no piao lawyer. Me a serious lawyer. Do serious cases. Win big case. So when I see some jokers around here, whoever them get their law degree must be from a crackerjack box. Come say them a look for me. Look for me? Where you look for me for? Because I do not speak publicly on any matter unless I have the facts. And when I came here to speak about the CFBC audit, I was reading from the audit itself. And in the fullness of time, I'm going to publish it so that you could read it in the quiet moments in your own home. It is devastating reading. Devastating reading. How from the college to the bank, money disappeared daily. Every day, money went missing. It was a daily occurrence. That's all the facts. That's what the audit report said. Well, I wasn't working there. I had nothing to do with CFBC. I wasn't attending school there. So those who were there and were involved in CFBC must be the ones to answer. Not me. I can only tell you what the auditors found. And I was not the auditor. So what am I look for me for? I'm say, lawyer, look for me. I think I afraid lawyer. Especially when I hear who the lawyer be looking for me. I say, Lord Jesus. They send the least of the disciples. I mean, if you're going to send a lawyer, send a Mendes or somebody who I could say, boy, this is a serious person. The least of the disciples. Them they can't even win a bad word case. And talk about them a look for me. Hefe Torah like me. I tell them already, listen. You all must understand that in life, you can't be good at everything. You're good at some things. You see me, I can't run. I can't jump too high. I can't play cricket. My reflexes aren't great. So I was never made to be a sportsman. I tried to bowl a little leg spin when I was young. My good friend Denzel Webb, Quack, he was the left arm, I was the right arm. But I used to say that he was Shane Warne and I was Stuart McGill. Because I turned them big, but I could drop them one, drop where it's supposed to drop, the next one drop by my toe. So I bowl a lot of no ball, a lot of wide, a lot of foolishness. If I get it on target, you're in trouble. But getting it on target was my problem. Quack, on the other hand, was always on target. Always on target. But such is life. We all have our talents in life. And I am saying to those out there who seem to want to make a name for themselves by calling my name and by writing letter and putting Mark Brantley in the letter and by filing lawsuit and putting my name on the lawsuit, that from 1996, in fact, let me be more precise, 1995 to be more precise, because I came back from Oxford in 95, until 2013, I practiced law in the most high-profile cases in the highest courts of the land. I say that to say, don't come at me with lawyer letter and come at me with threats of litigation. Because if you put a shark in the ocean, the shark will swim. Because that's what sharks do. So if you know you're not really up to it and you want to make name for yourself calling my name, go try some bad word case and make your name in the magistrate's court, yeah? And learn your standard and learn your class and stop calling my name, because when I come with facts. And if those who are at CFBC are concerned about those facts, tell them they're not going to shut me up by threatening lawsuit. Because the irony of ironies is that them chat what them know, them chat what them don't know. They make up all kind of stories, fake news, and they say that they're holy and righteous. And I come merely reading from the record verbatim, without any color, just giving you straight how the auditors say, and they want to put lawyer to write me. I want to put me under the clock. Well, if you think I'm afraid of the clock, think again. I'm not afraid of the clock. And so long as I have breath, the story of CFBC will be told in this country. And those who were there, and those who know, or as I like to hear them say, if you don't know, you ought to have known. Oh yes. If you don't know, you ought to have known. Because that, ladies and gentlemen, is what leadership requires. The buck stops with you when you're in a leadership position. You think if something happens tomorrow in the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Community Affairs, Lands and Housing, that I as a premier could say I don't know? It might be true that I don't know, because I'm not the direct minister. Even in my own ministries, something may happen that I don't know. But at the end of the day, I'm the Premier of Nevis. And when you are in charge, the buck stops with you. You can't have it both ways. You can't want to be in the position, and then when the problem comes, you try to suggest, oh, this ain't got nothing to do with me. No. When you're in charge, the buck stops with you. If good happens, you get the credit. And if bad happens, you must take the blame. That is the nature of leadership. So all of you who want to be leaders and who think you are going to make me keep quiet over this damning CFBC report by sending the least of the disciples, the least of the apostles to look for me. Tell them I'm not hiding. My office is at the Social Security building in Pinnis. And you can find me there. I keep very regular hours, and I'm always early, because I try to set a good example for the civil servants. And so I'm there early. I tend to stay late most times. And if you can't find me there, and you want to come over, then my offices at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs are now at Port Zante in St. Kitts. We have moved from government headquarters to Port Zante. You can find me there, because the story will be told. And all of you who like to go and bang out your mouth and say things about people that I know not to be true, I don't have to go down that road. Because while you all are peddling lies about people, the truth about you is sufficient to condemn you. Let me say it again. While you're peddling lies about people, the truth about you is sufficient to condemn you. And so, we'll have that conversation. The time is growing nigh. Again, the good people of St. Thomas's, you're invited to the launch of our series of public meetings. The first one is going to be in Cotton Ground, right there close to the Rita shop. 8 o'clock this Saturday. And we're inviting all of St. Thomas, indeed all of Nevis, to come out. Hear the message. The message of hope. The message for St. Thomas's parish, that they must send a representative, not just to the Parliament, but to the Cabinet. That's what we are asking you to do. It is 25 past the hour of 9 o'clock. I can really talk until 10. But I believe that I ought to give persons a moment to call if they so desire. And the numbers to call are 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. Let us go to the phones and take your calls. Good evening. You are on the mark.
Good evening, Honorable.
Good evening to you.
I was enjoying the program so much I was hoping you'd talk until 10.
Well, then you couldn't get in, so I'm sorry. Yes.
Sure. I want to join with you. Good program, by the way. I was enjoying the program with you.
Thank you.
I want to join with you and encourage all of St. Thomas's Parish to come out to the meeting on Saturday night there at George Street. Additionally, I want to say to the good people of St. Thomas's Parish that tomorrow at 3 o'clock, we shall have the opening ceremony of that beautiful road that is done at Kuhun's estate.
Yes.
a wonderful housing development, and the roads are magnificent, and they will be officially open tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So I want to invite all of St. Thomas's Parish to come and see that beautiful housing development and that road project that was put in there.
So what time is that tomorrow?
That is 3 o'clock tomorrow.
3 o'clock. Up in Cohoons?
Up in Cohoons Estate.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay? So one and all in St. Thomas's, please come out and see that, and because it is extremely lovely. Beautiful. Magnus was a beautiful housing development project, nice road. Cohoons Estate is a similar thing, and you will enjoy it. I'm inviting all St. Thomas's people to come out and see the work that is being done on those roads. Great job.
All right,
And
my
Mark,
brother. Yes.
I don't want to disturb you anymore because I was enjoying the program, so you have a good night and continue doing what you're doing.
Thank you, my friend, and thank you very much for inviting the good people of St. Thomas's to come out. I myself had forgotten about the opening of the road tomorrow, and I hope that the people come out indeed, because that, yet again, is another success story of this government. And, you know, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, the Deputy Premier, he doesn't say a lot. People sometimes even say, boy, they don't know when they've seen him. But you know why? The man is busy working. And I sometimes have to tell him, Alexis, put the work to one side. Go out and sit down and talk to people. Because this constant going, working. But, you know, the fruits of the man's labor are all around to see. All around to see. You mentioned Cohoons. I want people to go up there. I drove into Madden's housing development over there with 3 ladies from the Commonwealth. One who was Jamaican and 2 who were from Africa. And one of the African ladies said that she refuses to accept that this is government housing. She got out and she took photos. She said she must send them back to Africa, to her country, because she cannot believe what she's seeing there is housing produced by the government. Fine neighborhood. University Heights is about to take off. I mean, work. And I want to commend Alexis Jeffers tonight, because he said about Cohoons, the roads have to go in. And he has ensured that they're there for the comfort of the people right there in Cohoons, right in the heart of St. Thomas's Parish. And so I too join others in inviting everyone to come out tomorrow at 3 to see for themselves what the work we've been doing in St. Thomas's Parish. Let's go back to the phones. We have anybody holding? Good evening, you're on the mark.
Good night to the Honorable.
Good night,
Mark
my brother.
Good night to the Honorable Premier.
Yes.
Yeah, Mark, I listened to your opening statement, and you are so right, because every Tuesday, this gentleman come down here, and it seemed to me like he wanted to blow up your head with words, with lies, all kind of things he want to do to you. But Mark, you're a strong man, and I like how you're doing it. Just keep up the good works. Unity again. And Mark, let me tell you something. I want to know if these guys really going into election. Because you ain't hear them coming saying what they got to offer to the people of Nevis. You ain't hear him saying that. No, just in less than 5 years, you have done so much as the Premier Nevis with this unity government. And I do know that whether they get the information or the facts from, because as far as I'm concerned, Board of a Feather flock together. You know, things was happening down here under the farmer administration, and he get opportunity to be part of it, to be part of the Greenway and taking, because not only in the ministry we used to control at the CFD. Other government institutions, everybody doing as they like, because the top was doing as they like, so everybody decided to do as they like. But you know, a lot of them coming back them out about the one people vote to them, they have no conscience. And I want to know if the people of Nevis going to take this very serious, because let me tell you, he's very insulting. When you call in and ask him some question, and you ask him what you want to ask him, he start to insult you up and want you to get off the radio. So Mark, continue to do what you got to do. The people of Nevis love you. The people of Think love you. You have a wonderful night. God bless.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much for that. Do we have anybody else holding? The numbers to call, ladies and gentlemen, 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. And we're taking your calls. I spoke for an hour and 25 minutes, and so we have an opportunity to take some calls. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Yeah, Bradley.
Hello, how are you?
You can't stop talking on the show.
Well, you have a chance now. Talk.
The show used to be a Carleen show. Now you turn the show to a talk show. A whole hour and a half you take up.
So what are you doing? You're singing, you're singing or you're talking?
You talk about every week, you know.
You're singing or you're talking?
Huh?
What are you doing? You're singing or you're talking?
I'm talking.
Well, you just accused me saying turn it into a talk show.
No,
So
but
you want to do?
it
You want to
used to be
sing?
a Carleen show.
You want to sing a Sankey? Well, how are you on the show? You didn't call in?
Will I get a chance now?
Well, you get a chance now, so don't waste it.
Anyway,
Yes.
I was made to understand you, Eric, and Abana Natty send some teenagers down sink it to take part in a Caribbean team and talented team, but you all don't want to compete during cultural time. All three of you should be ashamed of yourself, especially you. You like to tell people you do things with young people and you empower young women. You should tell your daughter why you sabotage those young girls. Tell the parents when you go beg them to vote to you why you sabotage those young girls.
I'm trying to understand the point you're making. How is it?
I understand.
How is it you're sabotaging young girls? I don't understand.
Because you don't want them to compete during cultural time, but you're sending them a sing it
I don't
to
want
take part in a two different team show.
I don't want them to compete during Culturama time.
Yeah, you, Eric, and Abernathy.
Well, compete in what? What are you saying? I don't understand you. You
I
complain,
say you
so you
don't
didn't
want
get a
to
chance to
compete
call. Now you
here,
call and you
Culturama
can't put
time.
together a simple
In
thought.
mid-teen,
Yes.
but you send them down sink it to take part in a Caribbean team show and talented team show. Two different team show in sink it. But when you come here, you don't want to compete. And you had this show here before. So you catch my drift?
I really, your drift is a long drift to catch, but go ahead. You have another point to make?
You know what I'm talking about.
No, I'm asking if you got another point. 'Cause this
Okay.
one here, I believe that is what in cricket you
If
call a right.
Anafi hadn't been 4 seasons here, God knows where Nevis would have been right now. Because 4 seasons here over 30 years, and CCM around the country over 20 years, can't bring a major hotel up to this day. Have to depend on 4 seasons who provide work. When they open and still close. Think it's already brought in 4 major hotels since 4 seasons. And about to start more. And you feel stuck on 4 seasons. All you fight with a Tully road. Road can't provide long-term work for the people. 30 years, the old warehouse has sit down in the heart of town. System around the country over 20 years. Up to this day, you can't put a shopping mall there for Nivision and visitors. Visitors come off the boat, complaining, can't find a place to browse. Nivision come home with Culturama, can't find a place to browse, have to go to Sinkit. Vance Amway, pass on that building over 20 years. You already passed on it for 7 years. How much longer you got a building putting down in the heart of town? And I gone.
Okay. I left you to make your points uninterrupted. I will just move on to the other caller because really and truly, what you say and nothing is the same. I mean, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I keep saying to you that this show is an important show. It is a show that is widely listened to all across the country and the region. And if you're going to call and sing a Sankey, make sure that you're singing in tune and that you know what you're talking about. Your first point about teenagers and trying to don't press teenage girls, I am yet to understand what you're talking about. And the second point about hotels, it seems to me that some of you are of a view that the only development in the country is through hotels. That other development is meaningless unless you get a hotel. And yes, I would love to get more hotels in Nevis, and I believe that more hotels will come. I'm confident of that. But in the interim, look at the island and look at what is happening in the island. Look at that. Financial services, international banks being created. You have the expansion of small business community popping up all over. Heavy equipment businesses, trucking businesses. infrastructural development on the island, more scholarships, better health care, better roads, better electricity, better water. I mean, caller, you elect government to provide better for the people. And if you can see all of those things, lower crime. When 2018, I'm sorry, we had 5 young people losing their lives senselessly here on the island of Nevis to murder. 2019, that was down to 2. We're now in the 2nd month of the year and we're praying to God. Every night I pray that we could go through a year and have no murders at all. I mean, life has become better for our people, caller. And you, I know, get your script every week to call and chat something. But even for you, if you fear, life has become better. And I recall you, because I know the voice. One time you called in and said how we put back over there to move around the dirt in Long Point to fool people. We ain't building a Mondo track. And when the Mondo track emerged, you couldn't even call in and say, I was wrong. You know what you said? That when you go watch football now, you're going to be too far from the pitch. It tells me that you're not serious, and this is a serious show that discusses serious issues. And I try to attract serious people and engage with them in serious debate. So, caller, all I'm saying to you is I want you to raise the standard. And if you must use your few minutes on your cell phone to call, just when you call, be impactful by saying something that we can discuss and that can resonate. Not just every week the same old, same old. Making noise because you got a mouth. Use your mouth to eat and leave the phone alone if that's the case. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening to you, brother.
Honorable Mark Brantley.
Yes.
This is SK,
Yes, brother, what's up?
a.k.a. Skengman.
Yes.
People know me in Nevis as SK. Listen, you remember earlier you was making a statement saying, that guy who just called in, right? He's not a patriot, right? He is a franchise party member. So you don't have to let them get you angry, please, sir. What you should do, quote what the Prime Minister said today in Parliament. He said he don't worry when election is coming. He's worried about helping the people get a better life for them.
Yes.
So there's some people, you remember yesterday that some people will, if you put them to vote for power, they're going to vote for power. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad. There's them people. But I hope that God will help you when he goes to sleep tonight. Open his eyes and realize what is happening in Nevis at the moment. Yeah? So you don't let the people get upset. Please. You stay focused and you continue doing good for your family and the country. Please. And God is by your side. And come, no matter what, come next election, you're going to remain in office. And say goodness to the whole of Nevis and try ever for me, please. And tell Nevis people, look around. And stay. I had some friends come from England. And they say, my God, this Ivan. Last time I was in Nevis several years ago. And I don't believe what they say today. Yeah? It's like they didn't want to come back down. Yeah?
Yes,
so
brother.
you all are doing a good job. And you all stay focused and concentrate on the people. And the people is behind all you. Doesn't matter what they say in the world. Doesn't matter what they say. We are ahead. And we're going to remain ahead because you all is doing good. And quote what the Prime Minister quote today. You're not worrying about when the bell going to ring. You're worrying about serving your people. And I always like to hear you when you speak and say that you're not there forever. And I know that you're a godly person. And I hear that about Nazi. And what you say about Nazi was true. Because I get to meet Nazi myself in Brown Hill.
Yeah, man.
And he told me, right in his house, what happened. So, you have a nice evening.
All right, brother. Thanks for the call. It's 20 minutes to the hour of 10 o'clock. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to On The Mark. I'm your host, Mark Brantley. And if you're tuned in, it must mean that you're listening to the Eastern Caribbean's only powerhouse, VON Radio, the voice of Nevis, www.vonradio.com. Let's go back to the phone. Good evening. You're On The Mark.
Good night again, the Honorable.
Good night, my brother.
The Honorable, let me tell you something, right? It looked like these people just walking, picking out all the negative things. They turn a blind eye to the positive things going on in the country federation. You understand? Because look at it. some of them benefiting from what's going on in the government, and they're turning a blind eye to it. This country, regardless of what, Mark, this country is us. And when one benefit, your family benefit, this family benefit, and that family benefit, it goes round to all. Nothing beat this. You understand? So when he come in, you can tell him about project this and project that and project this and project that. Tell him, ask him if any administration in the Nevis will look how we look. You understand? Will it be the same thing that, listen, I have nothing against opposition. Opposition will always go to oppose, but come constructive. It's just like down here. Everybody see that the improvement that the unity government get in here, so much project has done in less than 5 years. And people still going around and peddling all kind of things against this unity government. You understand? We will get the negative, Mark. But let me tell you something, we're staying positive. And the people in the Federation are staying positive. Can't the last call of it? When somebody them come up from England and he see what's going on, he ain't thinking. You understand me, good from Canary? Good night, my friend. You understand? And this is a thing that, Mark, we got to counteract them with it. And let them in the diaspora know that what they're saying, they're telling lies. They're telling lies, they're telling lies because the people on the ground here, people like me who go around every day, come to Nevis often and see what's going on in Nevis.
Yes.
You understand? Mark, Mortland, good night. Rutland Hill, good night. Good night to Hilly over there, Stony Grove, and good night to what's your name, lad? To Mortland, and Rutland and Dave, and all those guys over there.
All right, brother.
So wonderful there.
All right.
Mark.
Thank you very much. And I'm just getting some messages here from my good friend Ursula. Ursula Philip right there in Villa Rica. Oh, yes, Villa Rica in the great state of Georgia. Peachtree State. I want to say good night to you. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for reaching out. And ladies and gentlemen, we only have about 16 minutes left, so we're going to try to take as many calls as possible. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening. You're on the mark.
My Premier, good night.
Good night to you.
How are you?
Well, I'm better now that I'm hearing your voice.
Boy, you got me a laugh. You understand? But you know why I had to call in tonight and talk to you and let the world hear? Because when you're talking, you ain't you talk straight.
Yes.
And you is an honest and perfect Premier. And you have a heart for everybody, not some of the people. And that's why I love you. And you will always be my Premier. Have a good night.
Thank you very much, my dear, and I trust all is well with you. Good to hear your voice, strong as always, and thank you very much for your support. You're right, because when I come and I speak the truth. And when you're speaking the truth, it's very easy. You don't have to just say boop, 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 boop. You talk, and you talk plain, and you talk straight. And that is why I am not concerned when I hear lawyers looking for me, because when I read from the CFBC audit, word for word, and who it hurt because somebody tell me the other day, say everybody know their word, you know. If you're going down the road and a big crowd and you bawl out thief, whoever the thief is in the crowd know his word. He know that thief is for he, and that's why he respond. So I reading about an audit report, me not call a soul name, but people are saying liar go look for me. What am I saying liar go look for me for? You hear me thief anything? You hear any money missing from the government coffers, whether daily, weekly, or monthly? No. So you send people to look for me for. Let's go back to the phones and see what the callers have to say. It is 1:45. Good evening. You're on the mark.
Hi, Mark.
Good evening, my brother.
Hi, yeah, good evening. How are you doing?
Well, I'm good. I'm feeling well. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing excellent, yeah. I see you being batting very, very well, playing very straight, which is very important not to play across the line. So you just continue the excellent work. Let me just say quickly, and to congratulate and to say happy birthday to my friend, Mrs. Voni Amory, who's celebrating today. And where she is today, which is a very nice place, and had an excellent day so far, and just hope that she continue to enjoy the rest of the few hours that is left in this very important day in her life.
Yes.
I years ago, also just about a day before, which is on the 11th of February, which was a very important day in the history of this country. A very dark day, but a very important day where justice came down from England.
Yes.
Because, our parliament was dragged to the lowest level. And I expect a speaker of a house to be a professional, but unfortunately what took place under his reign, I wish we could have erased that from the history of our country. But we had to take that case to England.
Yes.
And the export of the law, who are professionals, and any professional take the law seriously, and any professional will use the law to guide their judgment. And the judgment came down on the 11th of February 2015, which was in the best interest of this country. I also want to congratulate my government, the Team Unity government, for the outstanding performance over the last 5 years. I do not have the time to go into the achievement of this government, but I can tell you that I don't know, or I will ask you the question, if you know any other government anywhere in the world that have given full double salaries to all of its civil servants and even corporations. So when I come off, if you know any government in the world outside of the Sinkis-Nevis government, you can tell me. And then the last thing I want to say, that as I said before, Denzel Douglas, to my knowledge, has spoken the truth once. And this
Only
is
once?
exactly when Denzel Douglas said that he has a dream team. And Denzel Douglas was so right. Because after the next election, Denzel Douglas and his team will be still dreaming about getting into government. And you know what will be part of his dream? Because that we have the best Minister of Tourism in the Caribbean. And I will ask you this very important question, Mark. Well, two of them. In that dream team, who would they put as the Minister of Tourism in this country? And who would they put as the Minister of Foreign Affairs in this country? I will ask those two very important questions and leave you to continue to do the excellent work for the next 11 minutes before you end this very important program. You stay the positive force that you have been in the past.
Thank you,
Take
my
care.
brother. And in short answer to you, there's no other Caribbean government, certainly within the region that I'm aware of, that has paid a double salary 4 years in a row. None. None. In fact, I don't believe any of them has paid once in those 4 years. Let me take an opportunity to join you in wishing Mrs. Vernie Amory a happy birthday. I didn't know today was her birthday, but certainly if she is within the sound of my voice, Mrs. Amory, happy birthday to you. I wish you all the very best. And I've just got a note from my brother, from a different mother, Burl Jones. Burl is listening, and I want to wish him a happy birthday. He's celebrating today. I thought we were sort of close in age, but it looks like I'm nearly a whole month older than he is. But Burl is from Cotton Ground. We went to school together. We played youth cricket together. He was a fine, fine batsman from the St. Thomas's School. He used to give a lot of blows to us at Prospect School, as we were then called. But Burl, if you're listening, brother, you're still listening, happy birthday to you. I wish you all the very best. Please tell Pops I say hello as well. And I trust and hope that God blesses you with many, many more years of good health and happiness. It is 10 minutes to the hour of 10 o'clock. We've had a rip-roaring show tonight. A lot of chat, a lot of conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, elections are in the air. Elections are in the air. I'm going to be making an announcement very soon about whether or not we're going to go into a general election here in Nevis or whether we're going to have a by-election only in the parish of St. Thomas's. Mr. Parry has said he's calling it a day. Mr. Parry said too much licks in there. So all of them out there who say them bad, let them go and go take some of them blows there. And I could tell you, them who are coming, I got a special set of blows for them. Special crop of blows for them because they got a lot of mouth, a lot of chat. And then when it comes to the come to and you say, okay, then remove all the chatter and examine now the substance, you find there's absolutely nothing. Empty shell. Empty shell. Empty vessels making as much noise as possible, going on the airways. I hope the radio stations are charging them, you know. I hope they're not on there for free because the amount of noise they'll be making. I mean, imagine the other day, for example, big hullabaloo. My government took the unprecedented decision in the interest of good governance that we promised to the people that we would provide an office for the opposition, the elected opposition, even though there's no leader of the opposition. And so we provide an office for Joseph Parry, the Honorable Joseph Parry. Let me address him properly. And Mr. Parry had the office. He said where he wanted his office. And we paying the rent. We put staff, a young man to work there. We provided equipment and furnishings. Next thing up and down I hear, NRP having this day, NRP having that day, NRP having the other day. Bear in mind that I am the Premier of Nevis, the Minister of Finance, and the leader of CCM. And CCM doesn't have any office anywhere that the government and taxpayers pays for. None. We have a little office there in Spring Gates, and however we find the resources to pay for that, we pay for it ourselves. No government money, no treasury. So ask yourself the question, is it appropriate for the NRP to be trying to use the office that the government and people are providing for the elected opposition? I hear Patrice Nisbet having meeting over there. Patrice, nobody vote for Patrice in Nevis Island. In fact, he has run around the 100 elections and he lose all. He can't even win a box in St. James. I hear they're having Christmas party over there. When I had my Christmas party, I went to occasions. Spencer Brown and I. Eric Evelyn went up to Hard Times on the ball field up there. Alexis Jeffers and King this and that, they went to St. Thomas's on the grounds. And then they went over to VOJ and grounds. We paid people, bring people together, do what we have to do. That's what you do as a political party. We couldn't tell the Treasury, come, pay out the money, or let us go and have it in a government building. That is not right. And so I said in my press conference that it is not right. And I did what I believe any responsible premier should do. I issued a necessary directive and said, stop paying the money. Stop paying the money. Now, after that directive was issued, we see NRP with a big hullabaloo. They say, oh, the office was their campaign headquarters before Mr. Parry got offices there as opposition, and Mr. Parry was only using 2 offices inside the compound. And some story, I'm not really interested in the story, you know. All I know is no more money will be paid from the taxpayers of Nevis. And once we are done with an election, whether general or by, and there is anybody in opposition, I don't know if there will be, then we, the government, will find an office, equip it, furnish it, staff it as we have done. And we say, this is the office for the elected opposition. That is what we're going to do. So we are still committed to the principle. What we are saying to the NRP, listen, I tell you all, NRP people feel them smarter than everybody. They feel they head bigger than everybody. So the government paying for an office for the elected opposition, and all of them running, they start to have meetings and say, oh, it used to be our office before. And oh, the more they used to. Only one door missing going into the office, you know. One entrance, one main door. So I don't know how you're going in and you're going to say, oh, them 2 rooms here belong to you and them 3 rooms over there belong to me. Eh? You think it's fool, people, fool? Not 1 red cent of Nevis taxpayer money is going to be paid until we determine whether there'll be any member of the opposition, and then until the government will find an appropriate office and equip it the same way, because we are committed to the principle. But nobody can take advantage. You know, we used to have a saying that you could fool Shirley, but you can't fool Panko. And that's a true saying, you know. Many of you think that because you fooled Shirley, you could fool Panko. Well, I'm 51 years old. I hard to fool. And not one red cent of the treasury money going to be paid until we sort these matters out. And I don't really care who say what. Leadership sometimes require that strong decisions are taken to protect the interests of the people. And when you all try to take advantage, that is what happens. Let me go back to the phone. I got 5 minutes left. Good evening. You're on the mark. Hello? Hello?
Hi, Mark. Yeah, let me say quickly,
Yes.
because no one should be taking advantage of the people of Nevis. But let me just say that I believe Nevis is the island that have the most election in the world, and that I don't think is fair. But based on the present constitution, which we have things to look for, and that is why your program, which is one of the most important program in not only in the Federation, but anywhere in the Caribbean. I am confident about that. This is for serious business and serious discussion. I am thinking that the by-election is due. It's fair and will be unfair because, in a sense, if having a general election, which means it will put it in line where the federal election and the Nevis Island administration election will be due the same time, right? Which will be in 2025, right? But it also would be unfair for you to get a 5-year mandate in 2017 to just get a mandate for 2 years or 3 years, right? But these are very important discussion. I mean, yes, if you call a general election, as I said, it will go in line in the future where the local election and the federal election will be due the same time. That is the only good thing about having a general election in Nevis. But I don't think it's also fair for the government of the day in Nevis to have to call a general election when it only really constitutionally need a by-election. But also based on the Constitution, the Premier has the right to call a general election if he so wishes to do that. But these are very, very important discussions that we should have. And this is why I said anything that is in the best interest of this country is what we should take time to assess,
Absolutely.
to analyze, to talk about, to vent about, not people coming and the program to just take up time, I mean, with all kind of distraction, which I expect, because what the opposition is going to run on, they cannot be happy to run on their previous record.
What record?
Well, I mean, you asked a very important question, but I will leave it there because, the music has struck up and we will just have to leave it for another week next Wednesday.
Thank you, my brother.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the show. I'm here. So many people are reaching out. It seems like people far and wide have enjoyed the show tonight. Some say I've entertained them. Some say, one fellow sent me a message, say if I drink Hammond before I come. No, I'm on a natural liberty. Don't need any Hammond, because when you're speaking the truth and you're passionate about people and serving people, it's easy to do. It's been our show. The band has struck up. It means we have to go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Please remember, this Saturday night at 8 o'clock in the heart of Cotton Ground, the Concerned Citizens Movement kicks off its re-election campaign. It kicks off its election campaign. It will be a night to remember. Come out and hear our simple message. St. Thomas's, send a man to the cabinet. Don't send somebody just to the parliament. Simple. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a wonderful show. This show is rebroadcast tomorrow at 1 p.m. right here on Vaughn Radio. This is the Eastern Caribbean's only powerhouse, and this is On the Mark. And I am Mark Brantley, your humble servant, saying thank you, good night, and God bless you.
The views